just move on here. There we go. Hello. How are we all doing? So, I'm going to be looking down a lot here. Got my phone. I haven't got my handy helper today telling me what comments are popping up. So, I'll be looking down to my second screen a lot if you're wondering what I'm looking at. So, today we're going to talk about two major things. First, we're going to talk about how to get started in D&D if you're a brand new player. What do you need to get started? And because it's what we do, we're going to talk about how we get started playing online as well as, face-to-face groups. But the focus will definitely be on playing online. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build a character. We're going to build a brand new character. So what we're going to need is suggestions on what type of character we should build. So get those in the comments now. And then in about 15-20 minutes, we'll start building the character. And what we're going to do is build this character on Roll20 using the charactermancer, which is a feature that they've got built in. We're also going to build some macros for the character so that its base attacks are all set up and ready to go. We're going to get a token and we're going to set that up. So yeah, let's have your suggestions. So far the suggestions that we've had online, we've only had a couple. Well, someone said to build Cloud, seeing as Final Fantasy VII, the remake, has just been released. So that's not a bad idea. Though they suggested Blade Singer. I'm not sure Blade Singer. Blade Singer's, which is, first of all, restricted just to elves. Not that Cloud couldn't be an elf. I'd definitely put him as a human, though. Yeah, so Blade Singers dance and move around the battlefield with grace, and if you recall from, if you've played the new one or the original or you've seen the movie, Cloud, he does not dance around the battlefield. He's got a great big whacking stick for whacking, and that's what he does. So I'd put him closer to an Eldritch Knight, though I don't want this to become me discussing Final Fantasy VII, which it really could, really quickly. The other suggestion that we had was a Kensai monk. Can't remember what class that was. What race? Sorry, they suggested a race as well. So yeah, a Kensai monk with the noble background. Wood elf, that was it, wood elf. And I like the sound of that, mostly because there's a good chance that one of our players is actually going to play this character that we're going to create together here. Other suggestions that we've had is to make a tabaxi monk. So if you're not familiar with any of these, don't worry, we'll run through them when we start talking about getting started. So yeah, let's have your suggestions. Oh, Dragonborn Bard with a gladiator background. What instrument would a Dragonborn Bard play? Don't know, something to think about. So yeah, give us your suggestions. We need a race, we need a class, subclass if you want to give us a suggestion for subclass as well, get that in the comments. Background, and also any traits. And I don't mean traits as in what you get from the race. I mean traits as in what's this character like? What's he do? Is he a drunkard, alcoholic? Is he super nice, vegetarian, pacifist? That'd be fun. Pacifist. Okay, right. Let's turn the music down a little bit. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you the SRD. So if you're brand new to Dungeons and Dragons and you don't know what it is, this link here, which is in the top, which if you want to find this link, by the way, just go to Google. In fact, I'll show you exactly what I did. Put in Dungeons and Dragons, SRD, and hit enter, and it's usually the first one up there. This will take you to Wizards of the Coast. So this is free. This is a free download available to everyone, and there's two on here. So right now we're focusing on players getting started. So we're not going to click the Dungeon Masters. We're just going to go for this one, which is the version 5.1 system reference document. I only learned what that meant the other day. And that'll bring this up. So first we've got the legal bit, which explains that this is free to anyone and that the game license, how to play D&D, it's open, which is why we've got so many things like Pathfinder that are kind of the same. So this is passive-aggressive drow sorcerer. I like that. I like that. Yeah, sure. Let's all go outside in the sun. Yeah, that could be fun. So this document will give you your basic information on how to play. By no means do you need to read this before you try out D&D. Far from, in fact. So you only get a limited amount of races in here. So if I look through, we've got the dwarf with the hill dwarf, and I think you get the mountain dwarf on there too. Was it just the hill dwarf? Yep, just the hill dwarf subclass, but there is two. You get an elf, half elf, halfling, the dragonborn, human, gnome, and then when it comes to classes, you get a handful of classes, but not all of them. These are the class features, and a little bit further down, you get some backgrounds. If I remember right, you only get two. I think you get like acolyte and one other background. So yeah, so I will get a link up to this, but if you need to find it now and you want to look at it whilst we're talking, by all means, just go to Google and search for Dungeons and Dragons SRD, System Reference Document, and that'll take you to this. And there's enough information in here, limited though it is, to play through an entire campaign. You know, you can go and join a campaign with just this, and you'll never have to buy a book. And that's kind of one of the cool things about D&D is that it's not what people sometimes think. This might cost me a lot of money. Yeah, not necessarily. So, in fact, I'll get this back up and I'll look for one of the first classes. So when it comes to making a character, which is before you go and join a game, and we'll get to joining a game in a minute. Before you go and join a game, what you need to do first is you need to have a character in mind. You don't necessarily have to have a character fully prepped, but get a character in mind, and you're going to need to pick three things, and they're all contained in this SRD. Your race, your class, and your background. Now, sometimes when you look at this, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So what I say to new people when I'm introducing them is think of someone from Pulp Fiction, and I don't mean the movie, I just mean in general, you know, just all fiction that's popular right now or in the past. Just think of a character that you really liked. I always use Lord of the Rings as examples. If you like Aragorn, then tell your dungeon master, I really want to play someone like Aragorn, and they'll be able to build you a character like that. You know, you could say, I really like RoboCop, and yeah, it's D&D, it's high fantasy, but it can be done. So that's always a good way to go. And we'll get to building a character soon, and we'll talk more about that when we're doing it. Next thing you're going to need is a group to play with, and that's often the tricky bit. Now in Roll20, which is a system that we use to play online, they've got a finding a group sort of sheet on there. So if you go to games and then click on join a game, so roll20.net is this great online medium for playing. It's free to join, it's free to host, so give that a try. Finding a game is never easy, even right now whilst loads of people are at home. So you go in here, you'll decide which game you want to play. You want to play Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, I assume. You might not. But yeah, stick that in there. Search for games, and it'll start to show games that are only 5th edition games. Some of these are completely open. You literally just click on them, enter the game, and start building a character. Others, you've got to get in touch with the dungeon master and ask for permission to join the game. So if we look at this one, this guy's saying, if you want to join this game, post in the forum below and let the GM know. So player applications, you jump into there and you can say, I want to join your game, and see what, we'll come back to you. Here's all the information that he's also put on there. Some of this is really, really new. In fact, all of this is really new. So this is a good example of how you can get onto a game. It's important to tell the dungeon master that you're new if you are new. If you know some of the rules but you've not played for years, again, just tell them, just be completely honest. Because if you don't, they're going to expect you to just know everything. And then you'll end up, stuck. Keenan and Kel situation. Okay, you've got a game. Maybe you haven't got a game. You've got a character in mind. You need to understand how it works. And that's possibly the most, I'm not going to say confusing, but possibly the most conflicting thing to get used to. And that is what you can and can't do in Dungeons and Dragons. Now, generally speaking, you can attempt to do anything. You see, in order for a game to exist, it needs rules. That's what separates a game from a story. And Dungeons and Dragons is a mix between the two of them. It's a game where the players and the dungeon master tell a story. You do it together. The dungeon master sets the scene, and then the players interact with the scene. That's it. That is what Dungeons and Dragons is. Once the players have interacted with the scene, the dungeon master then updates it and says, well, now this is happening. So I'm going to give you some examples. So let me load up our game here. So this is our Differing Fates world map, if you like. It's actually a region in our world known as Western Cabranth. And I'm going to give you real world example. That is something that we've used. So our players, this campaign started with me saying to the players, you guys wake up and your hands are bound, your weapons are gone, and you're in a dark cave. It's wet, you're cold, you can hear strange yapping and nattering noises, and as they look around, they see that there is a cave that they're in, with the rest of the group as well as some random NPCs, and there's two gnolls. So first one says, I want to take a look around. So we have to roll a perception check. So this is, you roll a d20, and then you add your perception, which is a skill in wisdom. You add that modifier to the d20. So if you roll a 14 and your modifier is 2, you've got a 16, and then the dungeon master, in this case me, I responded with, you can see there are two creatures, humanoids, dog-like, that are watching you. And then, we then do this back and forth where they ask me a question or they tell me how they want to interact with it, and then I tell them the result of that interaction, or I answer the question. Sometimes questions, when they ask them, such as, what can I see, require a skills check. Other times it doesn't. For example, if the player said, am I hot? I can just answer that. I can say, well, no, it's a cave. It's pretty cold. You're cold. You're not suffering from the cold, but yeah, you're definitely not comfortable. That really is the basics of Dungeons and Dragons. Just this back and forth between the dungeon master and the players as we tell a story, and the story develops as a result of both actions. And then combat begins. Combat is different. When we are in open play, as I like to call it, we can do anything at any time, and normally we just have to wait until the dungeon master is free, i.e. not dealing with another player's interaction, in order to do that. You've got 4 people in, for example, a busy marketplace, and they're all trying to buy things from different places, and maybe the rogue's trying to pick some pockets and the paladin's trying to stop him. Sometimes you've got to wait your turn, but all of this happens at once. Now in combat, the decisions that one person makes can have a massive impact on the decisions even available to another person. And you need to determine in which order to do this, and this is called initiative. So you might have heard of taking the initiative and doing, using your initiative. Initiative in this frame of reference is how quickly your character thinks and how quickly that they can take them thoughts and put them into action. So initiative is a d20 plus your dexterity roll. Some abilities also give you extra modifiers, but we won't deal with that right now. So your Dungeon Master will tell you when it's time to roll initiative. And rules as written, so RAW, if you've seen that acronym around, that's rules as written, says that there are no surprise rounds or anything else in 5th edition. So the minute that combat begins, that's when your Dungeon Master is more than likely going to say, roll for initiative, please. So there is a character who's walked into a marketplace whilst the rogue is trying to steal something and a guard has seen him. Maybe this guard is hot-headed and he isn't going to try and talk to him. He isn't going to try and quietly take him to one side. He isn't going to try and arrest him. This guard's going to draw his sword. So he literally goes for his sword, and that's the point. That's when combat's begun, and that's when the Dungeon Master should be asking you to roll initiative. Once initiative is rolled, the Dungeon Master does it for the monsters as well, or the NPCs. And then we have the turn order in which everybody takes their turn. Which order it goes in, once you get to the bottom, you start again. Easy. And other than that, other than the turn order, which is set and usually doesn't change, it's exactly the same. It will come to your turn. Perhaps you're second, so the rogue is second, and the guard is first. The Dungeon Master says, a guard's approaching you, he draws his sword. Everybody's rolled for initiative. The guard pulls his sword, brings it down upon you, but not with force. He stops and says, halt. You're coming with me, you're under arrest. And now it's the rogue's turn. And the Dungeon Master will say, okay, rogue, it's your turn now, what are you going to do? And it's exactly the same thing. So you're now going back and forth. You can use your abilities in open play and in turn-based play. So you can attack someone in open play. It would normally initiate combat, just as you can attack someone in standard play. You can also say, well, I'm going to move over there and I'm going to try and hide behind that group of people. You can also say, I'm going to continue talking to this person and conduct my business. But the basic principle of Dungeons and Dragons, the thing that you always need to remember if you're introducing a new player, is it can be dumbed down to these two actions. The Dungeon Master tells you what's going on, and then you tell the Dungeon Master how you interact with that. Dungeon Master creates the environment, you play with the environment. Easy. Alright. So, we're going to build a character. That's what we're going to do. So we've got a couple. We've only got one in the chat now. And we've got 20 people watching. So let's have your suggestions. Currently, we have got Passive Aggressive Drow Sorcerer. I do like that one. We've got a Dragonborn Bard with the Gladiator background, which I do like as well. We've got a cloud-based character. I'm going to discount that just because I will constantly be talking about Final Fantasy VII if we do that. A Gnome Grave Domain Cleric. I do like that. Gnome Grave Domain Cleric. Okay, well, I'm going to create the character sheet whilst we get chance for any more to come in. So, creating a character. Now, I'm the Dungeon Master on this game, so I've got loads of options here, but a player wouldn't normally see them. So I'm going to right-click in characters and create a new character. Now, we don't have a name yet. We don't even know if this guy is male or female. Tabaxi Monk. Alright, that's the second time we've had Tabaxi Monk. So that might be the winner. So here's our new character. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so that we can all see nicely. There we go. And there we go. Tabaxi Monk. So I've created this new character, and now I'm going to go to the character sheet. And I'm going to use the charactermancer. When I click that, Roll20 is running really slow. I imagine there's a lot of people using it right now, so that might be why. Yeah. So here's our charactermancer sheet. So if you don't know what this is something very similar to programs and websites such as D&D Beyond, with the difference that not only does it build your character for you and puts in the abilities and the traits, it also makes them interactive in Roll20. I'll show you what I mean as we go. Okay, I'm seeing no more options, which means the most familiar, the most wanted is the Tabaxi Monk. So I think we're going to have a Tabaxi Monk. So let's go Tabaxi. So first you have to choose your race. Now, you'll notice that as I choose each one of these, it's telling me where they're from. So this Azamar, for example, is VG1. It's from Avolo's Guide of Monsters. Tabaxi is also from there. Let's give that a click. And then it pops up slowly. Man, it is running slowly. With their ability score increase. Alignment. Alright, what alignment should we run this Tabaxi Monk? What do we think? So our campaign currently has a paladin who is chaotic good, has a barbarian who is I think true neutral. Need to double check that. Definitely played true neutral. What's yours? Chaotic neutral. And we've got a wizard that's chaotic neutral. We've also got a monk currently. You know, I'm just going to get rid of this music because it's bugging me. Yeah, blah, it's gone. Yeah, so good or neutral seems definite. Tell you what I'll do, seeing as I'm not getting much feedback on these comments, is I'm going to roll for it. So what we've got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to roll a d10. We've got chaotic good there, but I've decided to roll for it, so I'm going to roll for it. I'm going to roll a d10. If it comes up 10, I'll roll again. I'll keep doing this until we get one. I'm also going to discount any of the evils. Look at that, straight away. So it'd be 9 to neutral evil. No, we're not running neutral evil. Let's roll again. We're not running evil. If it comes up again, we'll go. A 10 is a re-roll. Tell you what, let's just go d6. That'll make it so much easier. And then it's only the goods and the neutrals. 5. That should make it true. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the alignment is true neutral. Lawful good or chaotic good. Both good choices, but we've landed on true neutral. How do you play true neutral? Whenever I'm playing NPCs, and I'm like a forever DM, I never get the chance to play. So I could only relate to NPCs and monsters. So when you're playing true neutral, how do you do it? I always think of that. You remember that character from Futurama? Tell my wife hello. I always think of those. So these guys are basically not hugely passionate about anything. Alright, so we've got our alignment. The next thing we need to choose is a language. So this one comes with common, and then we need to pick another language. So I'll leave those up there for a second. And let's have, so far we've got Benjamin and Dennis who have been suggesting chaotic good, lawful good. I want this to be a community build rather than just a random one. So the first language that comes up there, that's the one that we're going to use. In the place where these guys are now, the most populous races would be human first. Then there is Dragonborn. There's a lot of Dragonborn. There's probably less elves than there used to be in this area. Goliath, dwarfs, halflings. Then there is still some Yuan-Tis, and there is some Kenku as well. There's also, you get tieflings and some of the other exotic races, but in quite small amounts. There's no settlements devoted to just them. So come on, give us a language. What language should we have for this guy? Or Gael. We haven't chosen that yet. What should we have? Do you know, I've just realised that there isn't a Tabaxi language. Maybe there should be. Maybe there should be a Tabaxi language. Dwarf wouldn't be bad. Okay, dwarf wouldn't be bad. Let's give him dwarvish. So we need to bear in mind that he's got cat's talent, so that gives him perception and stealth. I keep saying a him like it's going to be a him. Might turn out to be a hare. So you can see it's adding in the extra class features. So let's click next. And next we're going to get into class. So what class are we going for? Monk has been suggested. Has it? Alright, so we've had a lot about monk. So we're going to be doing this to 5th level so that it's in line with the other player characters. So what subclass should we give it? We have to do the subclass on the second way through. So the first time when we go through, we just have to do the baseline and then we'll level it up. So be thinking about and get it in the comments, what subclass should we give this character? And we also need a name. I'm crap when it comes to thinking of names. So weapon proficiencies, simple weapons and short swords. Okay, so we've already got stealth in there. Monks tend to be quite fast and acrobatic. So that seems like an obvious one. So I'm definitely going to stick that in there. But what else should we put in? History. Perhaps this monk learnt in some form of monastery that is keepers of law. Maybe just by storytelling rather than by actual bookkeeping and taking of notes and scribing. Perhaps it's religion. Could be athletics, of course. I'm tempted to go for history. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's go for history. So we've got the unarmored defense in there. We've got the martial arts. We're not going to run through all these. The player that is likely to be taking this one is very familiar with monks, so it's fine. Okay, ability score method. So we do a roll for stats, and we do the most common one, which is you roll 4d6 and you drop the lowest, and then that is your stats. Let's see what it gets. We've got 2 14s, a 15, a 13, 11, and a 7. Where should we put that dump stat? Come on, where's that 7 going? He's already got 2 in his dex and 1 in his charisma. So is charisma important? Not really for a monk, but maybe it is for this character. Maybe that's what we're going to do. We're going to make him quite charismatic. But where should we put that dump stat? Where's that 7 going? I'm going to go ahead and put 14 on dex, so we can optimize this a little bit. That'll give us 16 with the racial bonus. I also feel like wisdom's important to a monk. So do we go 15 or 14? Well, if we put the 15 in there, we're going to get the same result as a 14. Oh, I like that. Intelligence as the dump stat. That's done. This is not an intelligent cat. So if we're going to optimize, we could go, we could get 3 14s in this. And many of the stats will therefore be plus 2s. So if we put this 13 in charisma, that'll give us a 14. And then we've got 2 more 14s. Well, a 14 and a 15 to place. Where should we put it? What are we thinking? I'm going to put the 11 in strength. And then constitution or wisdom. I like the idea of this guy having more wisdom because his intelligence is so low. Like, he's good at seeing things, and his insight is good. He can tell when someone's lying, but his analytical brain power is quite lacking. So let's run with that. Let's put the 15 in wisdom, and the remaining 14 in constitution. So these are our scores. So let's jump over to the background. All right, we need a background. Where should we put this guy's background? So I'm going to leave that screen, that drop down there for a second, and look at some of the comments throughout the week. The gladiator background. So that was if we was going to do a bard. It's not very intelligent. So it's not very intelligent monk who's very fast. 16 is quite good. As a gladiator, possibly. What else have we got? Noble with retainers. So a noble with retainers. As a dungeon master, I hate retainers. It's extra to take into account. If I, for example, if I was planning for these guys to take a boat and I wanted it to be close and personal, retainers mucks that up a little bit. So if I say, right, you guys are going to go down this river, and it's going to be a 2-day journey, and then at the end of it, you're not coming back. You're continuing your journey. So this is going to be personal, and I'm going to give you an opportunity for your characters to role play and to get to know each other. And then the knight says, oh, absolutely, very close and personal. Don't forget my 4 retainers. I don't like that, but that's just me. So come on, what background are we going to have? So we've had Benjamin and Dennis. You've both had 1 each. Although saying that, Benjamin also said tabaxi and intelligence. So let's have another one. If we don't get one in the next couple of minutes, I'll choose something. So let's have a look. Well, I gave him history. Guild artisan, that's a good one. How about a soul? What's a soul? Soul. Sailor? Soldier? Or guild artisan? We've got 2 guilds. Do you mean guild merchant or guild artisan? And we've got soul. So Ben, is that soldier or probably is? Could be sailor as well. Guild member. Oh, I couldn't see that. Guild member, soldier. Let's go with guild member. Should we make him a merchant or an artisan? I mean, merchant's quite cliche, isn't it? If you played Skyrim or for that matter any of the Elder Scroll games, the artisan. Okay. Yep, let's go for it. Let's make him a guild artisan. So he gets insight and persuasion. Good. We're going to need to give him a tool. So what is he good at? What is this monk who's very dexterous? What is his tool proficiency? Is he a cook? That could be fun. Carpenter. Calligrapher. Painter's supplies. Possibly. Smith tools. I don't think that'll work. Potter. I do like the idea of that. I wonder if there'd be an opportunity to use that. So what's this guy? What type of artisan is he or she? A weaver? Woodcarver. I like the idea of a woodcarver as well. We'll go back to the comments again. Let's see. Come on. Next one to pop up. The first tool proficiency, that's the one we'll take. Come on. I know you guys are still there. Okay, let's have a look. Mason, woodcarver. Okay, woodcarver's tools. This guy is a woodcarver. He gets an extra language. He's already got dwarvish and common. Elvish. Give him pottery and call him Harry the Potter. Uses his claws. I'll use his claws for wood carving. Yes, that works. That does work. Although Harry the Potter, that'd be worth it just for the pun. But no, we've picked woodcarver, so we'll go with woodcarver, and we're going to say he uses his claws. Extra language, we've got Elvish. Let's give him Elvish. I mean, why not? Okay, so do we roll these or do we choose them? Let's have a look. So, guild business. So that one we're going to wood carvers, coppers, and bowers. Or a wagon maker. Let's go wood carvers. So he's in the business of wood carving. Personality traits. So we can always make some of our own for this. We don't have to take the ones that we see. But let's have a look. I believe that anything worth doing is worth doing right. I can't help it. I'm a perfectionist. That could be good. I look down on those who can't appreciate fine art. Meh. I always want to know how things work and what makes people tick. I'm rude to people who lack my commitment to hard work and fair play. I'm full of witty aphorisms and have a proverb for every single occasion. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to run through each and every one of these. So let's roll for them, and then if we don't like them, we'll just change them. Just why not? I'm rude to people who lack my commitment to hard work and fair play. Okay. Second one. I like to talk at length about my profession. Okay, yeah. We'll leave that one in. The ideal. Greed. I'm only in it for the money. Only in it for the money. I don't like that. Let's roll again. I work hard to be the best there is at my craft. Okay, okay. The bond. What's this guy doing out there? Oh, my guild a great debt for forging me into the person I am today. So as a DM, I'm instantly thinking, how can I use that? What can I get him to do? Yeah, we'll keep that. Flaw. I'm horribly jealous of anyone who can outshine my handiwork. Everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by rivals. I like that. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's pick some equipment. Yeah, I think those are pretty cool. It definitely does. Let's start thinking about a weapon. What weapon does this guy use? So we're going to do class equipment. So he can take. I keep saying he like it's definitely a he. We haven't decided this yet. So should this monk take short sword or any simple weapon? Let's just get the choices up. I kind of like the idea of something a bit different. A monk with a short bow. That's different, but eh. A mace. A mace would do, I don't think a mace counts as a monk weapon, and that's important. We can't deprive this monk of a monk weapon because they can only use their unarmed extra monk attacks after using a normal attack with a monk weapon. So the options would be club, dagger, javelin, quarterstaff, sickle, sling, spear, and short sword. What weapon should we give this guy? I like the idea of a spear. I think that's pretty cool. You don't see many sickle carrying monks. Maybe you could dual wield sickles and then come in with the unarmed attack shots. And of course, as a Tabaxi, they get 1d4 for their attack, though a monk gets 1d4 anyway, so just changes it from bludgeoning to piercing. Could be a spear. I think monks and quarterstaffs and spears, definitely a way to go. Okay, we've got quarterstaff down there. A Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack? See, I know what the rest of the party's got, so I know how we could be most use here. So yeah, I'm gonna take an executive decision and say it's gonna have an Explorer's pack. The spear does sound cool too. It's really one or the other in many cases for monks that I see anyway. Well, let's assess them. So a spear can be thrown if needed, and I think that creates roleplay opportunities. However, the quarterstaff is versatile, so you can use it two hands to gain extra power. Switch it from a 1d. Does it go from a 1d8 to a 1d10? I can't remember. Now I know this player who will be playing this, which will be Scruffington. I know that he has an affinity for roleplay over. Here he is. He's just joined us. He has an affinity for roleplay over optimization, so I think we're going to give him the spear, which I think will create more roleplay opportunities with the ability to throw it, etc. James, we're getting on quite well. So far, we have got a Tabaxi monk who is a guild artisan. And we're now just picking the class equipment. So you're a wood carver, and you use your claws as part of your wood carving. That's what we've got so far. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The arcane is a mystery. You do not know any spells. And there's no feats as of yet. Okay, we need a character name. Now we haven't decided if this is male or female yet. So James, you're going to be playing this character, so you can jump in and give your suggestions. So, what's the character's name? Does it give you examples? There we go. Tabaxi names. Cloud on the mountains. Or cloud. 5 timber. Or timber. Jade shoe. Oh, jade. Left-handed hummingbird. Or bird. I like these. These are cool. Each Tabaxi has a single name determined by clan and based on a complex formula that involves astrology, prophecy, clan history, and other esoteric factors. Tabaxi names can apply to both males and females, and most use nicknames derived from or inspired by their full names. Somebody did talk about making Cloud. So we've got a female there. Female Skittles. Are we going to call it Skittles? If I was going to call it Skittles, where would that come from? Let's give a proper Tabaxi name and see how could we get to Skittles. So, do you know, I can't think of anything with that. We've also got a male called Salem. I do like that. Salem, that's a pretty cool name. Reminds me of the cat from Sabrina, though. I don't think I'd be able to get past that. I'd be trying to do the voice. I suppose we'd need to know where this character's from. So where is this person from? And we might be able to build that in. Now, Tabaxi are relatively new to this area. So even though, we could just minimize that for a second and look at the map of the region, but Tabaxi are not native to this area. So it looks like James approves with Scattles. So I think we'll go Scattles. So we need a name for a full name for Scattles, or should we leave that to the player to decide? The cat from Sabrina. I did like Sabrina. Not gonna lie. First crush, Sabrina. What was her name? Clarissa. Her name was Clarissa. Melissa Joan something, was it? Can you remember what her name was? 10 points if you can remember the name without Googling it. Okay, how old is Scattles? How old do they live? When do they mature? Age. They have a lifespan equivalent to humans. So, too late, James. You are now called Scattles. Um, how old is Scattles? The cat was hilarious. The cat was the best part. You know, and the magic, I guess. Um, how old is Scattles? I think Scattles should be middle-aged, which would put him somewhere between sort of 25 and 40, if we go by traditional middle age. Um, Seems like a young name. Okay. All right, let's make him young. Tell you what, if we're going to make him young, then he's going to be. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll roll a d20 and I'll add 10 to it, and that's his age. So at the most, he's going to be 30. Um, but it could also be 11. So 1d20 plus 10. Oh, you want to go teenager? Okay. Um, let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. We get 22. How do we feel about 22? I think 22 is not a bad age. Let's stick 22 in for now. What about size? They're about the same, but they're quite slender. So, it used to be, there we go. Your base height. So let's have a go at the base height. So it's, your base height is 4'10" plus 2d10. I imagine this is in inches. So let's see what you come back with. 17, which is another 1 foot. What's that? Is 12 in a foot? They should really get on metric when I can work it out. I think 12 is. Yep, it's 12 inches to a foot. That's how big a ruler is. So that would be another 5. So that would make him 4 foot 6'3". 6'3", big fella. So 6 foot 3 inches. Now let's see what he weighs. So we're starting at 90 pounds plus 2d4 in pounds. So roll 2d4. That's not a lot of pounds, that is it? They really are slender. 94 pounds. That is not a lot. 12 is 1 foot. Got it. Yep. Or is it 5? Is it 6'5"? Have I done it wrong? Oh, I have done it wrong, haven't I? No, I haven't. No, that's right. 4'10" plus 17. So that would give you 12 off 17 would be 1 foot and 5 inches. Add that to 4'10". Yep, 6'3". What colour is this guy's eyes? Cat's eyes are, normally quite bright colours, aren't they? Or I think of cats as having, like, if a cat has green eyes versus a human with green eyes, the cat's eyes would be brighter. We also need to know his hair or skin or his fur. What colour is his fur? So let's have some suggestions in the chat. What colour is eyes? What colour is this tabax's fur? You got any suggestions, Sarah? Eyes and fur. What colour is this guy's eyes and fur? Orange eyes and grey fur. That's what we've got so far. What other options have we got? Or should we go with orange eyes and grey fur? Kind of like the idea of grey fur. It'd be pretty cool, that, wouldn't it? So I'm not getting out in there, so let's go with orange eyes and grey fur. Yep, Scruff's on board with that one. Okay. Now to the review page, and it's going to tell us now if we've made any mistakes and if we have, what they are. Of course, there's no real mistakes here, but for example, if we had picked a class ability that was also a background ability, it'd point it out for us, so we know. Could look like the cat on Shrek, Puss in Boots. I think they're called Calico cats. Calico? You want to be a Calico cat, James? Is it Calco? I don't know what it is. Alright, so let's apply these changes. So we now have the base character built. Now we've got to level it up to 5th level. So it'll now populate this. God, it's running slow. Anybody else having trouble with Roll20? Well, it says it might be a tabby. That'd be cool. Fluffy hair. Let's have a look with Scattles. Has Scattles loaded properly? Because it didn't look like it has. No, it's not. Look, it's not even loaded properly. What is going on today? Have we really just gone through that for it to not work? It's set it up as an NPC for some reason as well. Shakes my fist at Roll20. There it goes. Look, there it is. So what we've got, everything's gone in right. We've got Scattles. There's your aspirations. For the woodcarvers, what query, what attribute should we give it? I think it's probably going to be Dex, isn't it? If he's using his claws, definitely be Dex. So we'll just finish that one off. Now we're going to create the macros. We'll do that now. Or should we do it later? There might be extra attacks that come along. Yeah, let's level him up first. It is almost 20 past 9. So I didn't want this to be more than an hour. So let's level him up and we'll run through this relatively quickly. So let's have a look. We are going to 5th level. So let's just wait for Roll20 to catch up. And we'll put that. So we need 4 levels in there, please. So that's going to take him to 5th. So how we always do it is we roll, and then we'll see if this is more or less than the average. It's more, so we'll stick with it. There's a 1 there as well. Okay. All right, what tradition are we giving him? Our options are Way of the Shadow, Way of the Drunken Master, Way of the 4 Elements, Kensai. I love the Kensai monk. Way of the Open Hand, or Way of the Sun Soul. Now, I'm going to discount Way of the Sun Soul because James, who's going to be running this character, he played a Sun Soul monk that he absolutely fell in love with, and he was hoping for the randomness here to kick in. So we've already got a monk. Let's maybe look at a different one. Way of the Open Hand. I like that. Let's go Way of the Open Hand. So he gets the open hand technique. So Way of the Open Hand is the same as Mozu, who is the character that this guy will be replacing. So you can see he's got a couple of things here. New Mozo was open hand too. This is a good point. And do we? Yep. Let's go with a different one. So We'll keep the same, but we're going to go for a different class, different subclass. Give us some options on a different subclass. So we're really looking at these ones. Drunken Master could be good. Way of the Shadow, I've never seen Way of the Shadow played, and James is an excellent role player, so he could really use that. Would a wood carving tabaxi, how would he come across being in Way of the Shadow? You know, which is heavily insinuated, although not actually said, that they are, you know, assassins and stealthy warriors. Kensai would be good. Kensai allows you to take a longsword as a monk weapon, as well as a long bow, which is, you know, really good. I've done some builds in the past using those. Way of the Shadow for the cat. Let's go for it then. All right, we're going Way of the Shadow. We've now got Shadow Arts. You up to that one, James? Learning Way of the Shadow. Can cast Darkness, Dark Vision, pass without trace or silence, without providing material components. Additionally, you gain the Minor Illusion cantrip if you don't already know it. That's handy. Oh, yeah, Woodcarver by day, Assassin by night. Slow Fall. Slow Fall's a cool one. I think that's just a monk ability though. And we're getting the Stunning Strike as well. Okay, this is cool. We've now got an ability score modifier or a feat. Now, if we modify some abilities, what can we get in here? We could put 1 on strength to make that into a 2. Not exactly something that it deals with, so not necessarily needed. We could put wisdom up by 1, which would put our modifier to a 3. We could put them both into dex to get us to a +4. That's an interesting one. Where should we go? Now, I like to optimize my characters, so if it was me, I would put it into 1 into wisdom and 1 into strength, just so that we've got that should we need it. But this isn't my character. This is a community build. That community being about 5 people. Dex would make sense. Let's put it in Dex. James says Dex. There we go. All the Dex. Look at all those cool abilities. All right, let's apply those changes. Yep, people agree. Dex. Okay. Now what we need is a description of this character. I'll tell you why. This is what we've been doing in the background. Okay, we've been looking for an artist to help us, to work with us, and we want to commission them to draw not only our player characters but also our monsters. The reason for this is we intend on monetizing later on, and in order to monetize, we would need to own the artwork. We are down to 2 artists that we've chosen out of a list of about 7 that came forward when we put a call out. So we need a description. So far, let me go into the bio. So far, the description for the character, we have got the height. So it's tall. I'm just going to stick with keywords because I didn't want this to be too long, and we're about at the hour mark now. So it's tall, slender, with grey fur, orange eyes, carries a spear. So woodcarver, which I think is probably one word. So perhaps Scattles has some trinkets that it's carved on its body. What else do we know? Way of the Shadow. And finally, true neutral. Ooh. Okay, so that description, I'm going to let James, I've put the wrong Gray, I've put Gray as in somebody who's called like Mr. Gray. Yeah, we're going to let James bulk out that description into something that he likes, which I hope is not going to be too hard for him. So James, that's on there now. I'll just plop this into your journal so that you can see and edit. Go into there, bulk up that description, and then we'll send it over to the two artists. And from them, what we'll do is we can make a decision on which artist we're going to go with. So there we are, that's about it for what we're going to be doing today. I hope that this was useful. 50 Shades of Tabby. Yeah, I hope that you found this useful. Let us know if the little spiel to begin with about how to start with Dungeons and Dragons. Let us know if that was helpful. How that really came about because we'd seen a lot of comments of people saying, you know, I'm in lockdown and I've always wanted to try it, so I'm going to give it a try. So let us know. Did we answer the right questions there? Was the questions that we didn't answer that perhaps we should have? And as a new player, what do you find the most daunting thing? Then we can look at doing some others and you know, helping people get started. I'm also toying with the idea of running a game with some brand new players and live streaming that, just a one shot to sort of encourage people to get going because you know D&D is seeing this nice resurgence and we want to keep that going if we can. But yep, that is it from me today. Thanks you guys. Um, George has just joined in. Hi George. We're finished now, mate. Um, but yeah, thanks for joining us and for helping us build this new character. If you want to see that character in action, then every Friday at 8:30 GMT, that's about 2:30 US time, we live stream. So you know, join us and yeah, let's see how the character turns out. Oh, you know what we should have done and we didn't? We should have picked an accent. So um, I have this thing in my world. Whenever a player plays a race that I haven't introduced to my world yet, and this will be the first tabaxi, any traits that they bring, I keep. So I'll give you an example. One of our old players, Katie, who's not in the group anymore, which I'm hoping she's going to come back. She played a Goliath, and it was the first Goliath, and she gave it a Russian accent. So now all Goliath have Russian accents. So what accent should Scattles the Tabaxi monk have? I can tell you that James is really good at doing a few accents, and I'll give you the other accents. So our halflings are sort of Irish, Northern Ireland Irish. I'd like to point out. Our dwarfs are Scottish, naturally. Our elves, particularly high elves, speak with a French accent, unless you're playing them. And the Dragonborn have Australian accents. So, yeah, choose an accent, send it to the group. Ooh, Arabic, Middle Eastern. Get that one, James? Arabic accent for our tabaxi. Join in next Friday so you can see how that might not be next Friday. It might be the Friday after. We've still got some loose ends to tie up with his current character, but I like that Arabic. If we see any others, we will keep checking the comments from this throughout the week. So if you have any other, if you're late to the show, you didn't get to catch this live stream, and you want to pick an accent or you want to chuck an accent in the hat, as it were, let us know. But yeah, right, that's it. That's that then. So thanks for joining us again. Remember, Dithering Fights on Facebook. Give us a like and a follow so you can see future videos. We're also on YouTube. Everything that goes on YouTube goes on Facebook at the same time, but it's easier to watch back on YouTube, as everyone knows. So Thanks, guys.